getting very philosophical now, but it's, you know...
She's asking the philosophical questions.
But if
she's not fucking around.
I can talk to you! Just trust me.
I think that kids are often the only ones brave enough to confront the idea of danger, you know. So I would like to ask you, how do you confront danger as an artist?
Yeah, you know, I don't really know, but what I will say is I think that as we grow older, you know, the whole purpose of our mind is to try to predict the future. And so that's why we like stories, because stories are this little petri dish to, you know, this little snow globe world to learn about how we might better predict the future for our own lives. And we just get kind of bad at it as we grow older, and adults are really, really bad at it because they've had so many experiences that now make them predict the wrong outcome, but they're more and more sure of it. What you were saying about kids confronting fear in a different way is that they are open to possibility. They are still little scientists trying to, you know, really honestly and curiously figure out what the world is. They're not as rigidly predicting what the outcome might be. And so that makes them more actually perceptive of what is happening. And I think that's what's happening in the film here, where you have a girl who can see straight when the adults around her can't.
And in this film, Judy challenges the historical perception of the Ochi as something that it's dangerous, just because someone tells her that it's dangerous, you know. Why do you think Yuri begins this kind of revolution within his family and community?
I like the way you put it. I think that's very true with the children. Well, I think that Yuri is kind of like a broken soul, you know. She doesn't have a mom. She's very unhappy with her family situation, you know. She's the only daughter. It's not really appreciated, not really seen. And I feel like she's rebellious, and she's curious of what's behind, you know, what her father says, and what is true about what he you know, says about the Ochi, and why does he hunt them. And I think that she's just you know, she wants to know, she wants to find out by herself. You know, she's still a child, and she meets this baby Ochi, and she instantly knows that she wants to help him and that he's not dangerous, and probably also just has this sense of building a bond with him. It didn't need language or anything to be so close to something. Yeah.
Petro is also very brave because he defies authority, you know, and the figure of the father. His revolution is like when Judy says nobody is around.
I think that he is someone that does have the same kind of curiosity about things, but is too scared to show it, sort of as, you know, he's also someone that is looking for a parent or a mother or a father, and the closest thing he has is Willem Dafoe's character, who is someone that is sort of the opposite of a kid who has any curiosity about connecting with nature or these animals. I think he has to hide it because he feels like, you know, Maxim, as Willem's character, has a very rigid idea of like what a man should be, and I think that he feels conflicted in that way because I think he does just want to be a kid. He does just want to be someone who expresses himself in some kind of way.
Emily, Judy and the kids are clearly the heart of the story, but it's the adults who need to change, you know? And this movie let me think about parenthood, and your character and the film as a whole made me reflect on how culture tends to rationalize instinct and corrupt nature, you know? So how do you think that kind of, I don't know, corruption affects not just our relationship with others, but also our relationship with creativity and art?
That's a very big question. Yes, I think there are so many things that box you in as you grow. And the wonderful thing about being able to be an actor or, you know, do what Isaiah does is that actually, don't tell anybody, we didn't grow up. We're still playing. This is going to be like crazy batshit. Those are the things that feel so meaningful to me, just as a person, not as a. When you find something that feels alive and like it's trying to question and change, and I love that.
One of the things that I think it's very beautiful in this film is the metaphor of the miracle of communication, you know? The Ochi sing together and twine their emotions. And when emotions align, it's like when you love someone and they love you back, and that's a miracle, you know? In this, what does that idea mean to you personally? You know, like the miracle to communicate with someone and fell in love with someone.
You know, that's the sort of goal, really, isn't it? And that's have that real sense of being able to be, somebody sees you, you see somebody, they feel seen, you feel seen, and you're able to be real and yourself. There is nothing better than that.
He's asking the philosophical question.
But if a
She's not
movie-
fucking around.
If movies can, you know, movies can, you know, lift the lid of that a little bit and take a look at it, that's amazing.
Years ago, Isaiah said that music videos are a great way to test out big visual ideas. And above all, it's easier to find money to fund them, you know? And as someone who's not only an actor, but also you are a writer and a director, how do you see that part of the industry that greenlights a film like this, The Legend of Ochi, but often rejects other original projects?
Totally. I think about that all the time, you know. I think it's a really interesting point to like where sort of like the industry is right now, like why certain movies get made over other movies. I think Isaiah had specifically for this one, I think it was going to be made for a higher budget at a different studio a long time ago, and it fell through. And he you know, he's fully committed to making this thing, and I think had this like real kind of blind optimism that it was going to be made, and that it was going to be made in the way that he wanted to make it. And he never lost hope ever, and never had doubt, because I think once you start to have doubt, it's like that's when you invite things to start going wrong.
Yeah.